The news of Ananda Lewis passing has sent shockwaves through the industry, and her absence is being felt far beyond the bounds of television and journalism. On Thursday, June 12, CNN correspondents and close friends Stephanie Elam and Sara Sidner took to the airwaves, their voices heavy with emotion, to honor the life and spirit of a woman who touched so many. Ananda Lewis was not just a former MTV VJ. She was a voice, a light, a powerful presence who refused to be boxed in by expectations. Known for her authenticity, her passion, and her unwavering commitment to truth, Ananda carved a path in media that inspired a generation of young women, especially young black women, to speak boldly and live unapologetically. Back in October of 2024, Lewis joined Elam and Sidner for a raw and deeply personal conversation about their shared battles with breast cancer. All three women sat together, not as journalists, not as public figures, but as sisters facing the unthinkable. It was during that conversation that the differences in their treatment choices emerged. Sidner spoke openly about her decision to undergo a double mastectomy, followed by rounds of chemotherapy and radiation. Lewis, on the other hand, shared her decision to pursue a holistic approach, relying on natural remedies, spiritual grounding, and an unwavering belief in her body's ability to heal. At the time, many viewers were struck by her calm, her confidence, and her clarity. Ananda didn't speak from fear, she spoke from conviction. It was not a choice made lightly, but one made with deep reflection and peace. And it was that same peace that Elam spoke of on air after her passing. She had come to grips with it, Elam said quietly, pausing as her voice cracked. She was at peace with this decision. Lewis died on June 11 at the age of 52. A woman of vibrance, energy, laughter, and insight, gone far too soon. But in her final days, she remained deeply connected to the people she loved and the purpose she carried. Elam shared how rapidly Lewis' condition declined. "We thought we had weeks," she said, her voice heavy with sorrow. Then it turned into days. And then it turned out to be hours. She had visited Ananda just a day before her passing, holding her hand, exchanging quiet words, knowing time was slipping through their fingers. It happened very quickly how things changed. But while cancer took her body, it could never touch her spirit. Ananda Lewis will be remembered not just for her beauty or her celebrity, but for her brilliance. For the questions she asked. For the children she advocated for. For the stories she told and the lives she touched. She was a warrior for truth. A fierce advocate for wellness. A mother. A sister. A friend. Her work as a host on The Ananda Lewis Show tackled subjects that many were too afraid to confront. From domestic violence to systemic racism, from body image to healing trauma, Ananda never shied away from the tough conversations. She led with compassion and strength, guiding viewers through the darkness with light in her voice. Even before her national fame, she had already made her mark as a youth advocate and a tireless worker for change. After leaving MTV, she focused her efforts on education and community building, stepping away from the limelight but never from the work. She was never chasing fame. She was chasing impact. And even when cancer crept in, threatening to dim her light, she responded not with despair, but with resolve. She chose her own path, not in defiance of medicine, but in harmony with her belief in nature, energy, and spirit. Some questioned her choice, but those who knew her understood. Ananda was never one to follow the crowd. She did what she believed in, even when it meant walking alone. She made peace with it, Sara Sidner echoed, tears welling in her eyes. And when someone you love makes peace with their fate, all you can do is stand beside them and love them through it. That's exactly what her friends did. Through laughter, through tears, through prayers whispered in hospital rooms and moments of silence at her bedside. There are many stories left untold about Ananda. The quiet ways she mentored young women. The times she stood up behind the scenes for those who didn't have a voice. The ways she mothered, not just her son, but her community. The joy she found in music, in conversation, in stillness. She was brilliant, she was bold, and she was real. Too real for this world, maybe. As tributes pour in across social media, former colleagues, fans, and loved ones have been sharing memories of her warmth, her candor, her generosity. She had a laugh that lit up a room, and a mind that challenged the status quo. She wasn't just my colleague, Elam said. She was my sister. That sentiment has echoed from those who worked with her, lived beside her, or simply watched her from their television screens. She made you feel seen. She made you feel like you mattered. Ananda leaves behind a legacy of authenticity. A reminder that you don't have to shout to be powerful. That vulnerability is strength. That life, however long, is measured not in years, but in how deeply you love, and how courageously you live. In her final public appearances, there was a quiet glow to her. Something otherworldly. She knew, perhaps, that her time was nearing. And yet, she poured out wisdom and love with a grace that left others in awe. She was preparing not just herself, but those around her, for goodbye. Ananda Lewis may be gone in body, but her spirit, her voice, her fire, live on in every soul she touched. May we carry her lessons forward. May we honor her by living truthfully. May we remember that even in loss, love never dies. Rest in power, Ananda. You were one of one. And we will never forget you.